What black market did kids at your school run? Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe to be the first to know about new videos. Comment your answer below. I was in elementary school when bogs were big. Everyone had cool slammers and stuff, but I didn't have money for good ones. My dad made one out of 1/2 inch mild steel for me and used an engraving pen to make a simple pattern. Everyone was asking me where I got them from. I didn't want to lose my unfair edge, but I also knew I could make money. My dad had a big sheet of this 1/2 inch steel. I told them I was the only one who could get them. I sold them for $15 a pop. My dad kept 10, I got 5. And that's when I learned what overhead was. I went to a private high school with a strict dress code, ties, belt, etc. So I bought a bunch of ties and belts from a thrift store and ran a lucrative rental business out of my locker. Locker accessories such as carpets and magnets. Used to crush up warheads and mix them with sugar. Sold them by the straw with the ends melted. 0.50 a piece. I don't know if this counts, but me and my brother would take money to beat all the challenges in GoldenEye 007 for N64, so people got all the cheats. The invincibility challenge was the toughest. I used to sell Coke the drink because they didn't allow fizzy drinks to be brought in. I have family in NY and would go visit a couple times a year back in high school. Every once in a while we'd visit Chinatown in NYC and I'd end up buying 100's worth of fake watches, Rolex, Tag, Gucci, etc. return to school and sell them for double than what I paid for them. At my school they took all sweets out of the vending machines and replaced them with healthy snacks. In the local town there was a sweet shop where you could buy a kilo of mixed sweets for £5, so every week I would go there and buy 1 pound of small paper bags and spend the Sunday night before school repackaging them all ready for the week ahead. Come Monday I would go into school and load my bag up every day, selling the bags for 50p. My school used the metallic ends of pencils as a currency. Bronze was rarest, so it was the most expensive. Green was most common, so it was the least. We traded for erasers or pencil cases or a spot up in the 4-square line. Eventually got banned, but we still operated with people acting as banks to keep the currency hidden and to keep transactions hidden. Cuban sandwiches straight out a duffel bag before school. They were bomb cheap and way better than the lunch in the cafeteria. The only guy in the school whose family had proper TV channels used to tape wrestling events and rent them out. Apple laptops in middle school, some had iTunes, some didn't, and the kids wanted it, so I apparently was the only one who knew how to transfer the installer with my USB. I put it on everyone's laptop for gifts, favors, etc. in return. Got caught by the sub that day. I told her it was my flash drive, I could do what I wanted with it. And that's how I got my second detention of my life. In high school, this guy sold socks in the hallways. Silly bands. I remember a kid made like 51 day. When I was in the 6th grade, a teacher sold candy in between classes at marked up rates. A student decided to undercut her. That put an end to all candy sales. I had the principal's secretary's handwriting down and used to sell hall passes for 1 each. Made a killing. It's not anything bad, but we had a black market for food and another for birth control pills. Apart from the 20 minutes before the morning bell rang where everyone crowded around the front of the school being an open-air drug market, there were always dice tournaments. The rules were 2 people put down X amount of money on a game, then both people rolled 2 dice at the same time. Whoever got 7 or 11 first won the money. The winners of the first rounds would play each other for the amount of money they won in previous games. This went on until the bell rang, or it was broken up by teachers/school administrators. Things often continued in the afternoon after school let out. So many people got detention and suspended for repeat gambling. Looking back, it was hilariously stupid how much money was won and lost on a game of pure luck, and the sheer number of people who got in trouble for it. Yes, I was one of them. Slap bracelets. Small southern town with just a Walmart and one or two small clothing stores that carried them. Anyone who went out of town to do clothes shopping or because their parents worked there would come back with bracelets we couldn't get here, so a little black market popped up. 2 years ago I was a sophomore in high school, and freshmen weren't allowed to go off campus but everyone else was. So we'd take orders, go to the local fast food shops, and get the goods. It upped the price by about $2 and ended up making about $200 a month. I would buy 6 packs of soda for $1.79 and resell the 6 sodas for a total of $3.00. Pokemon cards we would hide under playground equipment and trade them because the teachers would take them if they saw them. So we always set up deals in class and created a whole Pokemon card trading network. Banana chips were 25 cents in the vending machine in middle school. I always went to school early, so I always ended up buying all of them and selling them for 50 cents a bag. Cinnamon toothpicks were all the rage in grammar school. The swim team or something was selling these fundraiser lollipops and they were insanely popular. I found the website on the wrapper and discovered I could buy my own way cheaper. I could also buy only the popular flavors. So I had only the best flavors and I could undercut the actual fundraisers by a quarter, still making over 100% profit. I quickly became a top seller and made bank until the copycats started popping up. Our school didn't have candy, so I started buying huge bags of pixie sticks and sold them for like $0.25 a piece. Then I got caught. This was middle school, so drugs and all that excluded. I lived in an area with a lot of retiree age people, a lot of which ended up raising their grandchildren. It really isn't a good area. Being older and from a rural area, they still don't trust online sites like eBay or Amazon, so I started ordering people things from those sites for actual money and added a charge for me to be making money off of it. It eventually got shut down because I got someone a USB in the shape of a pistol. It was the size of a USB and clearly a USB, but it didn't matter. The principal actually got the police involved to try to get me in real trouble. Some kids made a habit of stealing chalk when the teachers weren't looking. After a while they started selling it, charging more for longer and fresher sticks. It ended when someone eventually snitched on a buyer, which started a cascade of counter-snitching. Many pockets were emptied, some with chalk, but most of the dealers had hidden their chalk and got away with it. The duct tape wallets. Every year there was a new kid doing it. Lol. Blow pops from Sam's Club, 0.25 each. Must have made a killing as a 5th grader. Pencils for pencil fighting. The way it worked is one person would hold their pencil out grabbing both ends and then the other person would see if they could break the pencil with theirs by holding one end and then pulling the other end back, snapping it down on the other pencil. We made a website that started as us doing stupid prank phone calls and bleep stunts. It turned into a homework sharing and answers to tests and quizzes that people would steal later. Luckily I wasn't involved by that time, but my friends weren't involved in graduation. Warheads. Remember those? I used to run a pro wrestling merch hustle when I was in middle school. I was obsessed and would sell figurines at an incredibly marked up price and use the proceeds to buy wrestling DVDs. They took out the pop machines in high school. So I started selling pop out of my backpack for $1 a can. Ooh, I've got one. The guy that started and maintained and went to jail for the Silk Road went to my high school, like a year or two before me. My mom won a year's supply of double stuffed Oreos. I sold them in Ziploc bags while in 4th grade to everyone I could, even teachers. My mom thought my friends were eating them all. There was this girl that used to sell candy bars at my school. Her mom would get the big packs at Sam's. She asked me to help her, and that's when business started booming. We were making 50 to 100 a day just hustling in the hallways and in gym. Unfortunately she got caught and they shut us down. Me and my best friend sold packs of gum in middle school. We'd make around 30 a day and the teachers were going crazy trying to find where all the gum was coming from. As model students they never suspected us. Live fish. Some Asian kid would walk around school with a few live-bet fish in his school bag and sell them. Pop rocks in the late 70s. Kid drove 40 miles from Alabama to Catholic school in Georgia and got M in Al and doubled the price in GA. Sister Charles broke up the ring before we could find out if drinking Coke and eating Pop Rocks blew up your stomach. In my primary school we had some disabled kids and they had these special crayons that wrote really well, so some kids would steal them and trade them for Pokemon cards and random toys. I was the snack plug in my freshman year. Sold Little Debbie snacks and bottles of soda. Put this other kid out of business and he threatened to kill me during lunch. Told him he'd be doing me a favor. Pink eye. 5. In middle school, you could come to school with pink eye and make a lot of money off of kids who wanted to miss a test. Kid would just stick his finger in his own eye, and then in yours. In grade 2 we had a snowball store. You trade in cool snowballs for cool snowballs. A friend of mine made glass candy with her mom of all different flavors that was bleep phenomenal. She sold it off for 50 cents a bag and made a killing for a good while. Made the mistake of bringing in a Jack Daniels flavored batch and some goody two-shoes snitched her to the office claiming she was selling booze. There's a town butcher who has the best beef jerky I've ever tasted. His son would bring packs of it in his bag in high school and sell them to other kids. My grandpa taught me how to crack the protection on DVDs and burn them to blanks. I would buy the 100 packs of blanks for like 20 to 30 and sell the movies for like 5 each. I thought it was gonna come to an end when someone brought it up in front of a teacher. Turns out he wanted movies too. In high school, drugs and illegal weapons. In elementary school, sticks and random stuff they found. Me and some friends had a pencil business and we would steal and sell pencils to everyone until some of the kids in our group snitched, so we had to do it outside of school. Salt packets. We were hit hard by the Michelle Obama salt recession, and the enterprising kids were quick to buy restaurant salt packets in bulk and redistribute them under the table. One would get you enough salt for a whole week's worth of microwave pizzas. My little brother says his version of the black market in school is drugs. I said no, that's the actual black market. Back in 2nd grade all the boys would trade in Lego minifigures, specifically Star Wars. We had a pizza dealer who would take orders and cash from other students for the first few periods, then pick up the delivery in the parking lot at the start of lunch. Dude was pretty chill. You have been visited by Sad Cat. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to make Sad Cat happy again.